Since the start of the year, Chat GPT is everywhere, it seems,
Yep.
and it's impacting everything. Can you tell us within your organization whether it's been part of the discussion, whether people have come to you and you've been surprised at the different conference tables it's been brought up and explored or talked about? Anything you can share with us?
Whether it was good perspective on our part or pure luck, about 3 weeks before ChatGPT really came to the forefront, we purchased a company called Amenity Analytics that does natural language processing, does AI work around earnings releases. Is one of the more prominent analytics companies in the Wall Street space that's very tied into the type of work that ChatGPT does. So when our board is very supportive of this. And so we brought this company in and we're explaining to people, what it can do to data, how it helps people understand, the mass. I mean, think about an analyst on earnings day. If you cover the retail sector, those earnings all happen in a condensed period of time. And you may have 25 different earnings reports that come out, and it's impossible for one person to go through and read all that. But if you can take, our Amenity Analytics or something like the work that ChatGPT does and say, here's the 10 things I'm really interested in. I want to understand sentiment. How did the CFO, what were the words that the CFO said? Last time he said these 3 words or she said these 4 words, what happened to the company, right? Are they signaling something either directly or indirectly? And the amount of information that can be synthesized through with these models is really powerful, but it gives people more information on how you invest, right? It gives you better information on investments you want to make. And for me, these are, used the right way, these are all tools that help drive the investment process and reduce manual work that someone had to do at a point. Yeah, I think there's a couple that I could talk about. I think for me, the strategic moment was at IPC. We're private equity owned, very kind of intense operating environment. Hundreds of millions of dollars of investment in the company. And we were in the boardroom, and I was kind of giving a readout on the quarter, the results, and kind of what we're thinking. And one of the partners at the private equity firm said, "Okay, so what do we do?" And for me, it was like, okay, the CFO job, you have to be able to talk about what do you do. And it's not just understanding where the revenue came from or what products are growing, but how do we position the company appropriately? And in this specific instance, we kind of had 3 areas that we could invest in from a development standpoint. Some could have been all around electronic trading, more could have been on the trader voice side, or there were some small acquisitions. And yet in that moment, you realize that an entire boardroom, right? There's 25 people sitting around there, spotlights on you, and these are MBAs from top schools and successful investors, and they're looking for outcomes. And to me, the moment of being able to articulate, here's what I think we should do, here's why, here's the market that supports it, here's my view on the investments that are needed to drive it, and here are the scenario outcomes that we could have. And it was probably a 25 or 30-minute presentation I ended up giving to that, or answer that I ended up giving, and we prepared for it. And they kind of looked around the room and said, yeah, that makes sense. Let's go down that path. And for me, coming out of that meeting, that it was one of the first times I felt like, okay, I'm really driving a business-oriented outcome that ties to investment and decisions, as opposed to you're just quote just the CFO that's giving numbers.